Here we are. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi, Adam. How you doing? Welcome, and welcome to those who are joining us as well. We love to know that you're in there listening as well. And please remember to like and subscribe, follow us, support us, join us, comment, do whatever you want to do. Be a part of what we're doing here because it's some good stuff. All right, today I want to talk about, well, in the NLP world, these things are called toward and away motivators. I'm wondering though, Adam, how can we simplify that? Before we get into the dirty bits of it, what's another way that we could simplify the name of that toward and away motivators?
It's how people describe, it's how we learn how people are motivated, how they think about their goals or problems. It's patterns that show up in the words we use. The words I always say. The words are like the words I always say, like the wrapping paper around the thought process or the belief system or anything like that. The words tell us everything, so it reflects back what's driving us, how we make decisions, things like that. I'd probably leave it there to keep it simple.
Yeah, and actually, now that I've heard you explain like that, it's really quite simple as it is, isn't it? Yeah. Are you motivated by moving towards something, or are you motivated by moving away from something? And the reason this becomes so important is because psychology has taught us that if you are motivated by moving away from something, then it's only going to get you so far. Because the further you move away from it, the less power it has to motivate you because you're moving away from it. So there's more distance. So that when you're moving toward something, you're getting closer to it, and therefore it has the power increases to motivate you.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, brilliant. And so if we make it really, what's the word I want? We're talking about mindset and things at the moment. However, I want to make it really quite basic in regards to looking forward or looking back. So think of it also like when you're riding a bike, and you see this when people are driving too, actually. So you're riding a bike or you're driving your car, and what happens if you start looking elsewhere rather than where you're going and your destination? What happens if you start looking over to the side? Your body naturally wants to follow where your vision's going, and then your head turns, the whole works. That's how our body works. It's how our brain works. So you're riding your bike and you start looking at all the lovely scenery, and before you know it, you've got the wobbles and, oh shit, what's happened here? You see it on roads. It's called rubbernecking. So many accidents happen at the scene of a already existing accident because of rubbernecking, because you're driving along and you can't help but look. But you look and your focus moves away from where you're looking to another way, and you end up praying yourself because your body follows your mind and goes the direction that you're looking. Cool, right?
Yeah.
So here's how this feeds into toward and away motivators. If your mind is focusing on what you want to get away from, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to be alone. All these things are negative things that you want to avoid. Now, what's happening though is because you are focusing on what you want to avoid, that's the direction that your mind will send your body on. So you will automatically start noticing and being around all the things you actually don't want to be around. Example, weight loss is a big one, isn't it? I don't want to be fat. And there's lots of ways that people phrase that, I don't want to be big. I don't want to be this size. It's all about the negative though.
Yeah, I hate being chunky.
Yes, yeah. I hate my rolls, whatever way we phrase it. So you're saying those things to yourself And then on top of that, that's your belief. I don't want to be XYZ, negative. Then you'll start to form opinions and actions and behaviours on how to avoid that. However, the language will still be negative. So I don't want to be chunky. So I'm not going to have sugar or cake. Yeah, no more chocolate for me, no cake, no sweets. I'm not having any sugar. So you deny yourself all these things, and once again, you've created in your mind a negative focus. So what is the thing that you're going to notice, Moch? Because your thoughts create your reality. So if all your thoughts are negative things about what you're avoiding, what are you going to see around you most of the time?
Pasta, carbs,
sugar,
chocolate,
cake.
Yeah.
You're going to see all the things that you're actually attempting to avoid, because that's how our brain, our mind is designed. If we're wanting to avoid something, remembering that our unconscious mind does not know the difference between a real or a perceived danger. So if you're constantly thinking about something you want to avoid, your mind says, oh, holy shit, I better be super vigilant about that thing because it's bad for us. So I'm going to be super vigilant. I'm going to make sure I'm aware all the time. So then all you see everywhere is the very thing that you're trying to avoid. And Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, the same works with relationships, does it not?
Same works with everything.
Like, don't call him, don't call him, don't call him. I never want to see him again. Guess who you're going to see and drunk dial all the freaking time?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You'd have no idea, I know. Angel.
Yes.
Yeah, same. It's the same thing. And it makes so much sense when you actually just break it down to how your mind and body works in unison.
Yeah.
What you think about the most, your mind will put it at the forefront, and it will then make it the thing that's most important to be aware of. Now, that's all well and good, I suppose, if you've got outstanding self-control. If you're seeing cake everywhere when you've told yourself, I'm not going to have cake anymore, and you see cake everywhere, and yet you've got just so much inner strength that you're like, doesn't even bother me. Let's get real. That's bullshit. You see enough of it, most people, I reckon, will cave at some point. Right? Yeah, and it's because many of us are not, our minds were not kind of created, I suppose, or not conditioned to cope with all or nothing thinking, were we? That kind of black and white, and we've talked about this before, that duality that we've been programmed into, yes or no, all or nothing, black or white.
Yeah.
It's about learning how to find that beautiful mix in between. And so when in our mind we are avoiding something, we sort of turn into that all or nothing thinking. And that becomes very, very difficult to maintain. And therefore we run out of gumption, we run out of motivation.
Big time. It's I'd struggled with my weight for many, 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 many years until I had this hypnosis session with this amazing lady called Alison Burnett. Have you met Alison Burnett?
I haven't, but please pass my number on.
Get a mirror, walk past the mirror. And, the biggest thing that really, since that moment, it's just been, my body has really found its equal, what do they call it?
Equilibrium.
Where it should be, because you change the words from weight loss to resetting my ideal weight.
Yes, ideal weight. Such better language.
So because when you say, if you say your unconscious mind is just hearing weight loss, which sounds great. Obviously, you want to lose some weight, but really you want to shed weight and never put it back on again. So that's why I was yo-yoing. I'm convinced it's all in the language. I was, I'd lose a little bit, feel great, and then my unconscious mind would be like, oh, okay, great. Well, let's go and find everything we lost then. Burgers.
Exactly. Even the word loss or lost, Generally, we don't want that, do we? With anything, we don't want to
No.
lose, an item. We don't want to lose a person. We don't want to lose a relationship. We don't want to lose a game. We, as humans, don't actually like to lose. So we're kind of setting ourselves up to fail using a term like weight loss. So
Yeah.
it is so much, you're right, it's about language and thinking about using the language up here that's going to best demonstrate what you want. What are you moving toward?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've actually been working with 3 coaching clients on this specific subject in the last
Who would have guessed?
week and a half. Always happens, always comes out in themes.
Yeah.
And, really just, talking to them about their language, because they've said, right, I want to achieve XYZ goal. But as we know, as coaches, everybody always talks about what they don't want and never really talks enough about the things that they do want. They said, well, I don't want to feel tired and unhealthy. I don't want to feel stuck in my job that I hate. And, I don't want, okay, great. What do you want? And they go, well, the opposite. Okay, what is the opposite?
Yes.
And then as soon as that awareness comes in with the language, they're like, oh my goodness me, I didn't realize. And every time they speak to me, obviously I'm like on high alert with these things because it's my favorite thing to listen for. And then I'm like, so how can we apply more towards language to that thing? And they're like, I want to feel strong and like Thor. One said, like Thor from whatever the films, the Avengers, or whatever. And I was like, I wish you looked like Thor. I mean, lovely, but not bringing. I didn't say that, obviously. I thought it. It's when it's actually loads of fun to change the language to more towards way of doing things. Of course, away froms are not necessarily all bad, right?
No, it's about a balance.
So we're not saying good and bad, and if you do it this way, that's bad, and this is good. None of that exists. But it's how are we tuned. And we're creatures of our environment, so we don't know what we don't know. And if we've grown up in an environment where it's all away from behaviour and language, of course that's all tied to negative reinforcement, isn't it? Which a lot of people live in. So people are sort of motivated to avoid those, I want to say, bad outcomes. But again, that's not what I'm after. The less than desired outcome versus the really desired one.
They're unwanted
Me
things.
changing to the towards language myself.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great.
Yeah, so towards behaviour and the language that kind of triggers all that off is all about positive reinforcement, isn't it? I guess is the simple way to put it. So people are really motivated by the positive outcome that they've associated with everything else that kind of goes with it. We get what we focus on, as you say. It's my favourite thing with this is to see people go, oh my goodness, I didn't even have a clue I was saying those things. It's like,
we're so conditioned to avoid.
In NLP, we're repeating back their words to them, and they're like, I didn't say that. Like, yeah, you did.
Yeah. Like, it's such a second nature, isn't it? That's what we're... Yeah. And, I love, even with yourself, once you become aware of this language, watch the difference. If you said, I'm so tired of being tired. I don't want to be tired anymore. Look at the body language. And then when you say, well, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be like up and vibrant and awake. Our state changes immediately because we start to step into the toward motivator. So a lot of the time, what's missing is a clear picture of the toward motivator. Because remembering that our minds work in symbols and pictures. Even,
Yeah.
A letter of the alphabet is still a symbol in our mind, So the strongest way to get yourself a toward motivator is to get the picture in your mind. What does it look like? What sounds are there? What smells are there? What color? How vibrant is it? Really work on that picture of what you want going forward. And that's going to change your state. It's going to help you connect to it. And so, as you said, a negative or an away from motivator, they can be great to get you off the couch. Your house is on fire. You better believe you'll get your ass out of there really quick. That's an away from. I want to get away from that fire. But if you don't know what you're running to, then eventually you're going to stop, aren't you? You're not going to keep running down the road like Forrest Gump in, 90 and bare feet. You're eventually going to stop because you've got nothing that you're running toward. You were just running away from the fire. And so once you're safe, then you stop. And if you've got nothing to go toward, then you will essentially return to the scene of the crime. And hence, like you were saying, that kind of yo-yo up and down, weight. And we do it even with our moods, with relationships, every aspect of our life. We tend to follow this same pattern if we do not have a really clear picture of what we're moving toward. So that would be my challenge to our listeners today, is to really think about something that you want and list off your shopping list. Do it on paper and then have a look. How many of them are negative? How many of them are away from? Because you want more towards than you want away. And build that picture of where you're going. I want to be, I want more money. Even that is not actually a toward motivator, because saying you want more money is presuming that you don't have enough now.
Yeah.
So you're actually not wanting to be where you are now, which again, that's okay. However, you need stronger toward motivators. So, okay, what does more money look like? What's a dollar figure? How much are we talking? What do you want to be able to do with that money? What's your purpose with it? And build a fantasy.
Nobody's thought about that stuff, but I want a pay rise. Okay, so you might be careful what you're asking for, because work might come along and say, yeah, we're going to give you a $2,000 per annum pay rise, which is basically like $50 a month or something stupid.
And that you asked and you received.
Myself a couple of magazines. Yeah, exactly. So if you're gonna focus on it, you might as well focus on something mega.
Exactly.
As they say.
Focus on what you want. And without, going too far into a whole nother episode, that's also when you come from an NLP background, that's when you tend to pick up the traumas and the negative self-beliefs. Because, that's a big question, isn't it, Adam? When you ask someone, how much pay rise do you want? Just like $100 or something. And you start to dig into, wow, you don't think you're worth much, do you?
Yeah, good enough to all that other stuff. Yeah.
And so then it feeds that negative self-belief, which then feeds your negative motivators. It's just this big soup of negativity.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, it feels the opposite. You see people because you think, well, hang on, when you've been made aware of it, you can see them go, oh my God, how come I've been doing that for so long? It's like, okay, well, this is not a rod for you to beat yourself up with.
Yeah, it's not another reason to be hating on yourself.
Yeah, just, once you are aware of it, you can't unhear it. So it's, carry on. I forgot the point I was going to make. It'll come back.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't unhear it. So the awareness is the first step. Awareness is a huge step of growth. And now everyone listening to this, sorry, not sorry, you are now going to be much more aware of your thoughts and even listening to other people. If they say to you, oh, I just don't want to be sick anymore, you'll be thinking, oh, hang on, what do you want? I want to be healthy. Great. What does healthy look like? And let's start there. That kind of language, as you just said, Adam, you can't unhear it. Once you're aware of it, you can't unhear it. So practice on yourself. and then start picking it up in other people. It's a great tool, a great growth. What's the word? Great for growth. It's great for growth.
Yeah, we should have that as a slogan. I mean, it's like, I think just, oh, sorry, here we go. It's all coming flooding back to me.
I knew it would.
It's because it is quite easy to get, I call it stuck in neutral, you know. So
Oh, yeah.
if someone's got too much away from thinking, you know, they tend to sort of just keep spinning their heels,
Yeah.
you know, spinning the wheels, you know, focused only on, you know, avoiding the disaster without, you know, any idea where they're going. And, you know, too much towards thinking can make you completely just ignore all the warning signs.
Yeah.
On the road to your dreams. So
good point.
Balance, I think balance is key. Like we're saying, you know, this is not good or bad. We are, you know, this is how we're thinking, you know. So towards thinker is, you know, this will help you achieve your dream, and an away from thinker is, you know, this will protect you from your problems. Some people are wired in a certain way, whether we all have the ability to monitor ourselves and our own language and fine tune it on an individual basis. You know, it's too much of one thing does not necessarily mean, you know, that's better. So, you know, if and it's about setting goals that stick. If you're using this language around kind of setting goals and changing your behavior and, you know, putting new habits in and saying, okay, well, I don't want to be fat anymore. What I do want is to live a healthy life and support that with a healthy diet. You know, if you're always saying but if you set this ridiculous goals of, okay, well, I'm going to have meal prep every Sunday and I'm going to do 15 containers and I'm going to prep my lunch for 5 people. Mate, you do that for a week and then you're like, guaranteed, fuck that shit. Pardon my French. You know, and then you're straight back down to like, oh, maybe it's okay if I just have one Macca's muffin on the way to work. Don't tell anyone.
Fine.
You know, like it's easy to break, isn't it? Because you set things way too ridiculously opposite to where you've been. So be kind to yourself and have compassion for yourself. You know, if you're always saying what you don't want, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be fat, you know, just flip it to what you do want. So, okay, well, I don't want to be broke. Okay, well, set a little target and say, I'm going to save myself $10,000 up by the end of the year. Set a plan for that. It's $1,000 a month, $250 a week. Do that for a whole year. You've got to give your mind the evidence to then change. You know, you've got to have that, even if it's a tiny thing. Like I've been getting my clients to get their ass up in the morning, like up out of bed, into the bathroom, brush teeth, make their bed, and then send me a photo of the bed made, and then we go out for a walk. And I've been going out walking with them, and I've been doing the same thing myself.
Good job.
Tell you what, massive, I feel great. I mean, initially I was doing it to support them, and I was like, oh my God, it's fantastic. I feel great.
Yeah.
And like all the hoovers, the vacuums done, and you get all that shit out of the way first. And of course, that's achievement, isn't it? Just those little things, the little things that you've done. You can't cut the corners.
Well, because everything you're explaining there is actually about rebuilding trust within yourself.
Yes.
So a lot of negative or away from motivators, we avoid things because we don't trust. That's where it comes into it. We've been hurt before. That. Exactly. Yep. So when you do little things that you've said to yourself, I'm going to do, and much the same as you, Adam, when I used to do a lot of trauma coaching, one-on-one trauma coaching, all my ladies, I would have them, the first thing they do when they get up in the morning is have a glass of water. Single ladies, no, is have a glass of water. And the thing is, it's not about so much the water. There's lots of benefits there for sure. It's that person is saying, when I get up tomorrow morning, I'm going to have a glass of water. So when they get up in the morning and they have the glass of water, they're starting to rebuild trust in what I say I'm going to do, I will follow through. And I just got fireworks when I said that. Thanks very much. And that is such a big thing because so many people have been let down in the past by people not following through with what they'll say they do. And we end up being our own worst enemy. We say we're going to do something and then we don't. We do a cheat. Like you said, I'm going to meal prep every day this week. and then we go and have cheeky Maccas and haven't meal prepped anything. What we're actually done is...
I can't believe people do things like that.
Certainly not me. What's actually happening is we've let ourselves down. We've proven to ourselves that we cannot be trusted to follow through on what we say. So we set up these small toward motivators.
I'm not peeing. I'm just getting some water.
These small steps moving forward, the actuality of it is to rebuild trust in ourselves that what we say, we will follow through with. So all of these, I mean, we've brought up quite a few different elements here of personal growth and NLP. However, they all interlock and are all required in order to sort of be the version of yourself that you're most proud of. So, there's lots that we could go on with. However, I think I
think we definitely need to just throw in the relationships spin.
What do you want to say about that?
Well, so what I'd like to say about that, Alison, is, humans are weird, aren't they?
Wonderfully weird.
Wonderfully, beautifully strange. Like, I love it. Nothing shocks me anymore because I'm like, wow, interesting. Tell me about that. Most people are not 100% towards or away from. We're wonderfully weird, and we're probably both. Both of them. When it comes to work things, because nobody loves their job these days.
Relationships, though, Adam. Where are we going with this?
Wait. Work first, because we've got to work, because that's relationships, isn't it? The people that you spend time with at work, you spend more time with those people than you do your other half. So towards motivated at work is all like, I want to crush my goals. I'm going to be the best salesman here and blah, 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 but in relationships, you might be away from, but like, well, I don't want to get hurt again, be all away from on that stuff. We're not just talking, and I think that's probably a real big one. People are really holding themselves back and really, denying themselves of a fabulous romantic relationship, because they don't want to, I don't want to get hurt again, etc. So, this language pattern extends into that bit, because I find I'm having a lot of those conversations where people are like, oh, well, just be another one in the queue, someone to take the piss and take advantage of me, but reinforcing the shitty belief. It's like, well, no, you just maybe not mixing with people that are going to respect you, etc. But that's a reflection of what you believe you deserve, right? So recognizing the patterns in yourself, and others is like, it's like having a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? You've got a tool for every occasion to really sort it out, but it will help you whittle that out, and massively help you in your all relationships. Anyone that you're in contact with, your mum, your cousin, your auntie, the people you work with, especially your other half, just start listening to your other half. Just don't tell them what you're doing.
All right, so brilliant. We'll end it there. Good session. All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we will see you in another week.
Love.
Now.
I really hope you enjoyed it. We had a ball making it.